Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim. Oh, well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. All right, do you want to get to the good part or the bad part?
Are there good
Might as well
parts?
just like
Where's the good part?
swallow the pain right away. Let's like it's like just get the hard part over with as quickly as possible.
Okay, the Celtics lost and they've been eliminated. We never thought that this ride would be such a short ride, but it was. And to be honest with you, it was deserving. They deserved to lose to the Knicks. We always start with Russell. Russell, you have a 20-point leads in game one and game two of a series at home, and you blow them against an average team that you're favored against considerably. You need to go home.
Yeah, they got what they deserved. Once they lost that second game at home, that series was over, right? Statistically speaking, almost no one ever comes back. I think they had like a 15% chance of winning that series at that point. And they got our hopes up. They played a nice game three, but ultimately they got what they deserved. They pissed away two big leads, one because they let up and then panicked, and the other they just kind of let the ropes slip out of their hands.
Yeah. Joseph, did we get a coming preview of what was going to happen in the Knicks series by the Magic series? It seemed like they never really they won the series, but they weren't in control of it.
They didn't seem to relish the physical nature of the Orlando series. And then when the Knicks came at them hard and the referees were swallowing the whistle those first two games, the Celtics seemed to take a step back and weren't playing as hard as they usually do.
Yeah. Timmy, did the effect of playing into when the team hasn't gotten back to back in a lot of years, is it the effect of playing deep into June and then coming back in May of the next year? Does it catch up to you physically? Look, it did, of course, with Jason Tatum. He blew out his Achilles.
Yeah, and I mean, Porzingis was a shell of himself. I don't know if that's who he is now or if it was illness related.
Yeah.
Um, there was a mental part of game one and game two where I just said, we're not going to get another bucket. You know what I mean? It just felt like something had happened to them. They're just heaving up threes and they couldn't defend. I'm like, if they can't, if they, if this is what they're going to do, they don't deserve to win because that's not what champions do. You know, I mean,
Oh, look,
they should, they on paper, they were head and shoulders better than the Knicks. You know, we saw it. They should have won. They should have won.
Did they lose their sea legs, Russell?
Like they lost their cheat code in Porzingis. I think Tim put his finger on it. The whole thing about Porzingis was, and we saw it plenty of times when the thing was slipping and when their threes weren't falling, they could get it into him on the post or run a pick and pop with him, and he was their way to get out of that. And when they didn't have that, they regressed. They regressed to the team that they had been in the previous 2 years before winning the championship. And I think it was mainly because Porzingis wasn't available.
Look, they didn't. It's not like the Knicks were playing remarkable defense, and the Magic did play good defense. We were just missing open threes.
That first night, sure, that was it. That was the whole thing.
I mean, you don't usually, Joe, you don't usually get open threes in the playoffs, but they were actually getting open threes and missing them.
Yep. And boy, they could have changed the format. Look at what Indiana did last night. They were taking, other than the threes they had to take in that incredible comeback, they were twos all game long. The overtime, all twos,
We thought
They
Brad
were
was so.
taking advantage of the Knicks not having the large. All they have is, Mitchell there. And he's not very, athletic. He doesn't move his feet well. You can beat him inside at the hoop, and Obi Toppin and Nemhard and them were killing him last night.
Timmy, we thought the Brogdon deal was such a steal. I think it was the other way around. I mean, Neesmith has become a hell of a player.
What when
Well,
I didn't watch the game, but when I started hearing the highlights and I started hearing Neesmith, I was like kind of not paying attention. My head snapped over. I'm like, oh, what? Are you kidding me? Yeah. I mean, give the Celtics credit for drafting him. You know, he's turned into a player.
That was Danny.
He's the kind of guy you like at this time of year. Very aggressive
but-
defender.
Remember Neesmith brought Brogdon. Brogdon won that Sixth Man of the Year award that first year, and then Brogdon turned into Holiday. So it wasn't like they just gave Neesmith away. They got value back for him.
But that was a good deal for Indiana because he's
There was, yeah.
a real good player. Look, none of this we saw when he was playing for the Celtics. I mean, he clearly didn't show any of
We
this.
saw the defense back then, but remember he couldn't shoot when he was with the Celtics.
Exactly.
Even wide open threes, he wasn't hitting.
He took
And he
over,
came, and he was like the best 3-point shooter in college when they drafted him.
Yeah, remember we needed a shooter, and we were very happy they got Neesmith, and then he was just a complete dud. And then now all of a sudden he took over that last 2 minutes. It was a pretty remarkable performance. I mean,
It really was. That was the most enjoyable, devastating loss that any team has ever taken.
It was the most devastating loss in the history of the National Basketball Association. 1,414 times a team has entered the last minute with a 9-point lead. They've never, ever lost.
I saw the odds. It was like 99.3% chance that they would win or something.
1,414 times straight that team had won.
Look at Joe with this stat, Russell. You impressed?
It's such an incredible stat. What a number. It's
Crazy
not like
stat.
100 or 200. It's in the thousands, for God's sake.
Well, I'm telling you, when you have Halliburton, that kid is just incredible.
Oh boy, did he almost blow it with the choke thing when his foot was on the line.
Busted that out a little too quickly. I got to tell you though, like those Knicks fans and just having those Knicks fans have to walk out of Madison Square Garden like that with their terrible between their legs. I mean, they celebrated like they won the 3 NBA championships when they beat us, and they still had 8 more games to win a championship.
I know.
8.
Well, it was of course they loved it. Not one person gave them a chance in hell of beating the Celtics.
Yeah, it was found money.
Nobody. Even Stephen A. Smith said, I'm a Knicks fan, but there ain't no way in hell they're beating the Celtics. You know what I mean?
I don't even understand how
still,
they won those first 2 games. I still, it happened so quick. It was like a car wreck.
That's why I might give up being a sports fan. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think. What else?
He didn't even watch the games
It was
anymore.
embarrassing being a fan of the Celtics.
It's like I get so mentally upset. I can't even watch the games. You know,
but there's only so much laundry you can do, Timmy. So unless you're going to open a dry cleaner,
I start just
you might as well
stuff
continue
out.
to be a sports fan.
I just start throwing stuff out in the mud and going and picking it up and bringing it back and do it
I have
again.
to tell you, I don't know about you guys. Watching the first half of even the playoff game in the NBA is kind of useless. It doesn't make it. There's no reason for it. I mean,
absolutely, Scotty. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I tend to just meander on into the third quarter more than happy. What does it matter, right? Right, Russ? Yeah. 9-point lead at half. Does that mean anything?
Well, it's all 3-pointers. Jamie Bickerstaff was asked today, he's the Detroit coach, to explain what happened with Indy yesterday. And he said, simply put, it's 3-pointers. It's all about, like, you can just come back. And that's what they did. They were down 9, and 9 went to 6, and 6 went to 8, and then 8 went to 5, and 5 went to 2. And 51 seconds later, 4 possessions, and these leads can go. And because these guys shoot well now.
Right? Sorry, Scotty. What was the biggest lead the Knicks had?
17, I think.
Yeah, they were up 14 with a few minutes to play. But really, Timmy, they went up. They scored 2 points to go up by 9 points with 51 seconds. They were up by 9 points with 51 seconds to go.
Less than a minute, Tim.
That's almost when you put the subs in, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, that used to be in the Larry Bird era. That would have been Terry Durock.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And
but you couldn't come back in the 2-point era. You couldn't come back from 9 points. That means you needed to score 5 straight possessions, and they don't get even a free throw.
And a little help from the refs.
But
Right.
you think about that Duke game in the NCAA finals. I mean, that was very similar. You know, they had a huge lead with 1 or 2 minutes left, and they blew it too. The 3-point, it's changed things even more than ever, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
that's all they take. So the math is different.
Well,
The math is
Carlisle
different.
knows how to coach. You know, we got a taste of him last year, and he really did a good job down the stretch and in the overtime, calling his timeouts the right
Yeah.
time in the right place, and had nice inbounds. Because when you're in down that last 2 minutes in overtime, inbounding the ball is very important and being able to get it in clean. And he gets it in clean every time.
And the Knicks almost screwed it when Hart slipped too. I mean, they kept on screwing it up every time.
Yep.
Thibodeau, he was outcoached. I agree with you, Joe.
Well, if there's any redemption in the Knicks getting, past the Celtics, is watching them now get their fucking hearts
Broken
ripped out.
hearted. Yeah. I just can't. It can't get. That was even more than I could have possibly hoped for last night.
Oh,
You know?
that was so historic of a collapse.
How do you say Schadenfreude?
Schadenfreude. Yeah. That's what I have. I'm freely admitting it. The thing that pisses me off about them, though, is like they haven't won a championship in 52 years. They haven't been to a conference final for 25. And in the mythology around the Knicks is that it's the Mecca, like Madison Square Garden's the Mecca of basketball. Like, what are you talking about? That team, what have they done? They haven't won anything.
The last New York team to win a title is actually the 2012 Giants. I don't even
Giants.
talk about that.
Yep.
But that's the last time. So that's 13
They
years.
start every year with 8 bites at the apple. Two teams in every sport.
Yeah, you
right?
beat me to the punch there, Russ.
Yeah.
8 bites at the apple every year, and they haven't won one since 2012.
Imagine how many
Ridiculous.
titles we would have won if we had 8 teams.
A lot.
My God. And I know one of them would have been in Brockton. I'm sure of it. We would have had we would have had to throw one in Brockton. 8
Yeah,
teams.
exactly.
I don't even know where we put them all. Right? How
Can
much?
you believe it?
Let's just think. How much fun would that be? Would we just? I mean, have to quit all our jobs and just
We'd have to
full-time?
double the length of our show. We'd have 4 more teams to talk about every night.
Well, remember back at the height of the Bruins mania in the Orr era, they wanted to put a second NHL franchise in Boston.
Is that
I
right?
didn't know
The
that.
Braves then
And
too.
play in the Garden?
Well, they were talking about another franchise in building something on the North Shore.
Okay, I know
I
they
didn't know
a
that.
lot of times.
Oh yeah, it had a lot of
Salem,
steam.
New Hampshire. Remember, they were going to build a garden, an arena at the Rockingham site, Rockingham Park site, if you remember, in the 80s.
Oh, I do remember that now. Yeah.
I mean, I think that got to like a point of seriousness, but obviously it never happened.
In the Orr era, you could have filled that building 10 times per game if there were ticket sales.
Remember, the Braves were selling out. The minor league team, the Boston Braves.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah,
and they were selling out the Garden.
This is a good question. We kind of just go freelance here. What sport would the Boston be able to support a second team? What sport?
I would say probably hockey, right, Timmy? Like there may be another 10,000 people who.
For resale value, I would say the Bruins are the strongest.
No. As far as
so I'm basing on ticket sales, Scotty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On demand, and
right.
Even with a crappy team last year, you could
I
still.
agree.
What other team could you make a buck on reselling teams that was like doing terrible in Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that we could support a second hockey team, a national?
More than any
they
others.
found out they couldn't.
Yeah.
Could you support? Could we have a National League Baseball team?
It's almost like we could support.
No.
I think you might have to go. Maybe Southern New Hampshire could support a team, or maybe Providence could support a team.
How about Worcester?
I don't know if there's enough dough out there. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, a lot of people like we would travel if they had a National League team in Worcester baseball. I
Well,
would
you would,
travel to
Scotty.
Worcester.
The
Scotty,
NHL
you'd go
would
to
I'm not
never
sure I
put
would.
another franchise in Worcester or Providence
Scotty,
or
you'd go to
Southern New
Worcester.
Hampshire.
You'd go to Worcester for a
Impossible.
high A baseball game, Scotty. Yeah, you're a little weird. Okay.
I know, but
Hmm.
I currently have the shirt on. So you're saying that neither you don't think any sport could in
Nope,
Boston.
none.
I
Well,
think
you
hockey's
don't
got the
realize how
best
Boston
chance.
is till you go visit Chicago and you go visit New York. I think you realize we're a pimple, when it
Yeah.
comes to big cities in this country, man. We're really a small town,
Well,
I think we could sustain a baseball team.
the
I really
metro
do.
area is
Yeah, the
big.
metro area is, but I mean, you could put literally 25 Bostons in Chicago downtown. You know what I mean?
I think we could sustain a baseball team. I really do. I think they could do
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
You guys.
Well, if they could, the Braves would still be here.
Well, I mean, obviously the economics of Boston has changed a lot since.
And the Sox would be banged out every night.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the Sox would, but it's an interesting, storyline. All right, we're going to go to the New England Patriots, the most positive news of all
Well,
the.
that's because we're Patriots slats Jets fans now.
No,
And
no,
we're
no.
living through free agency in the draft.
No. You stop doing that.
Heresy.
But you can just rain on my one
Oh,
little
I
parade.
should say Jet-like fans now. Well,
No.
Jet-like.
No, the Jets haven't won since 1971. We have won 6 Super Bowl championships. I do not.
So you know what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the highlight of our season, our last 3 seasons, has become our free agent signings and our drafts.
No,
And it's way better than anything that's going on the field. You know what I mean?
There's no question. But look. I always turn to Russell. Russell, we are not thinking tank no matter what. I don't care. I'm not doing it. Can you just agree to that right now?
No, I'm not going to agree to that. What happens if the Patriots are 3-10? You think I'm going to root for them to win their last 4 games? Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Because
Makes Scotty feel better.
I can't
come on.
And I can't do this.
No, I don't think that's going to be.
Hey, Scotty.
No, I'll
just
answer
a,
this, please.
just a point of,
Let me
just
answer
a
it.
point of order.
Because the development of the young players is so important. And Timmy talks about that one season where all of a sudden we were getting better and better with Bledsoe as the year went on. And that carries over to the next season. So I will say that's why it's very important to do that.
So just one point of order here, though, Scott. You went into last year swearing that you would never root for them to tank again. And we were at that Bruins game with Timmy, watching that Colts game, and you were losing your flipping mind when it looked like the Patriots are going to win that game.
Oh my God, I never rooted so hard.
And Tankathon was his #1 used app for the entire
So,
season.
I mean, I respect the fact that in the abstract, a couple months before the season really gets going, you're saying that. But I don't, if there's a big stud left tackle who's clearly the best player in the top 5, and there's a chance that we could get him to protect the Messiah, you mean you're going to root for them to win games at
left
the end?
tackle. What's Will Campbell? Will Campbell's already obsolete. What are you talking about?
I'm assuming if they're 3-10 that Will Campbell didn't work out that well at left tackle.
This was supposed to be the positive part.
I don't think it's possible to be bad this year when you look at their schedule. And I think
Joe's
that
right.
they've upgraded the coaching staff so drastically. They've upgraded the defense slightly. They've upgraded the offensive line, the running back room, and the wide receiver room. It's got to be a better team. I'm thinking of about at least 7, maybe as many as 9 wins next year.
Okay, well, predictions. That's not happening.
Oh, it's way too early for predictions. But the only problem that team is going to have next year is depth. They have none. They get hit with injuries. They're going to go down like a bowling pin.
You can say that pretty much about every team in the NFL. I mean, who has depth?
Well, the old Patriots used to, they were loaded with middle fiddle guys, and they used to, next man up used to work. Remember, guys, they were getting defensive backs off the street to play in the Super Bowl and still won.
Yeah, but that was just hopefully they're coaching.
William Gay, remember him?
Well, the coaching was incredible, obviously, at that point.
Well, all the talk at the camp, the OTAs was about Will Campbell, saying that this guy is legit. He's a stud,
Wait. Wasn't there some other talk out of the
Yeah, the
OTAs,
fourth
Scotty?
round. The
No,
fourth round.
they don't talk about those interceptions.
Some
Oh,
boy
just
wonder
stop
throwing
it.
4 interceptions
I'm
or
not.
something and looking lost out there.
Oh,
And
just stop it. For
yeah,
God's sake, anybody.
I'm not. Don't shoot the messenger, Scotty. Don't
No,
shoot the messenger.
no. Anybody says anything bad about the Messiah is irrelevant. I'm sorry. That's it. You're eliminated from discussing it. And like Joe talking about prospects. That's it. I mean, you didn't. You guys didn't watch the season last year. The guy looked in fantastic.
Yeah, didn't you see him win that one game last year?
Oh, see. All right, that's fine. So then okay. When
Joe,
when
one of
he
the best lines of the year on this show, right there.
When he wins,
well done, lad. Well done.
Okay, Joe. Okay, Joe. No, really, have your moment in the sun, Joe. I'm going to make you pay for that for months moving forward, and then I am going to torture. Look, I love Timmy so much, but I have given him a free pass on Trevor's story.
Trevor's Story.
He
Trevor
deserves
who?
to be tortured for Trevor's Story.
Hey,
I should wake him up.
I think Tim turned his back on Trevor.
Tim's got a Scotty. Tim's got a weakness for guys named Trevor. So between Trevor Story and Trevor Lawrence, he's got it bad for guys named Trevor.
If he'd had a fourth son, it would have been named Trevor.
Trevor.
Yeah.
I still have hope for Trevor Lawrence. I still do. I don't know why.
I do too.
I don't know why. I don't know. I can't believe that talent can just disappear like that. He was the best college quarterback I have seen in a long time.
Well, they're paying him like a top quarterback.
I know, and
they have no choice.
I would have signed that contract too. I mean, after what I saw him do in college.
No, but yeah,
well, I mean, he's got all the tools. He's got everything you could ever want.
Who would you take, Lawrence or the Messiah, right now?
Oh, you take Drake May 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. Come on.
Wow. Wait. Oh, that's Russell. Okay.
Oh,
Joe.
Russell's the
Wait, hold on.
boy now.
Wait, Joe, who would you take?
Oh, God, in a minute.
Joe, who would you take?
I'd really be unsure. I'd like to see another year of Drake. I like Drake a lot, but I'd like to see at least another year. He had 4 years concussions last year. He might end up being tour.
Oh, just stop it,
Scotty. I can't have this. I can't have this Drake May slander. Put a stop to this.
Just in PFF, one of your favorite sites, listed the quarterbacks, that ranked the quarterbacks, and our Drake May came in at number 22, which I'm not gonna argue a lot of guys won more in front. But I do have an argument. The guy they had at 21 was J.J. McCarthy, and he didn't even play a game last year.
That's
this propaganda. Once this
exactly.
And he was drafted behind May too.
How can they possibly rank a guy who hasn't played an NFL game?
I know. And they ranked him ahead of him. So
that's just stupid. All right, Timmy. No, I got the question. Trevor, the Messiah.
For as much as I like the guy, I really haven't watched him play much. I think he was put probably in one of the worst positions coming in. It kind of reminds me of Jim Plunkett coming to the Patriots back in the day. You know what I mean?
But he's had terrible coaches too.
Terrible coaches. It's just a terrible situation. I think he's physically more talented than May. I still think the guy put in the right situation could still be a star. I don't know. I see Russell shaking his head. I have a lot of respect for Russell's opinion.
May is like 3 or 4 years younger. I mean, Drake May just is 22 years old.
I think his mental stability is probably better than Trevor's at this point.
Yeah, Trevor's like
kind of a broken man now.
Trevor's like a broken man. He's like, it's like me after a girl breaks up with me. Just a wreck. You know what I mean?
All right, well, answer the question to me. What do you want? Who you got to pick someone?
And you're asking me from the bottom of my heart, I'd probably still pick Trevor.
Oh my God! I'm surrounded by it. We're surrounded by assassins.
Scotty. You got. You have to prove it on the field.
Joe,
I listened to
college
another.
Stats don't mean anything.
You want Joe? I swear to God, you mentioned you would Sanders. At some point during the season, you're like, you never know. Maybe we'll draft Sanders if we get a high enough pick. Don't say you didn't say it. You
Might
said
trade for him. How's
Wait,
about that? You
Joe,
like those prospects.
where's Trevor Lawrence in that PFF poll?
Oh, I don't know. I
Well,
see.
I'll look it up.
I wouldn't think
Yeah. Hey,
it
Scotty,
was
there was
news. It was
another
in today's news cycle, so it'll be fresh.
poll that I listened to as a podcast over the weekend. It was a, pretty analytically inclined person who the question was rank the quarterbacks for the next 3 years. And I think Drake was like 8th, which is, I think that's the right place to put
Yeah,
him now.
he's
If he has a
still-
good year next year, then he goes
It
way
all
up.
depends on how you rank him. Is it for one game? Is
Do you
it?
want me to read?
Are you
Do you want me to
starting-
read?
For
I got,
3 years.
I got it in front
3
of me. You
years.
want me to read the rankings?
Sure,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Josh Allen 4, Jalen Hurts 5, Jaden Daniels 6, Matthew Stafford 7, Justin Herbert 8, Jared Goff 9, Geno Smith 10, Brock Purdy 11, Jordan Love 12,
Stupid
Baker
list. This is
Mayfield
ridiculous.
13, CJ
All
Stroud
those guys have
14,
won playoff games. That's right.
Kyler Murray 15, Trevor Lawrence 16.
The easy
Oh, wait, Trevor Lawrence might be the biggest wild card in the tier. The talent is undeniable. Yet he's yet to show consistent high-level play.
He's trying.
Having Travis Hunter as his top target should really help him. And having a new offensive coordinator. Let's see what they say about your boy
No,
Wonder.
wait. So run it down to you're close. You're getting close.
Okay,
To
all right.
17. Who's
Okay, 17, Dak Prescott. 18, Tua Tagovailoa, who I think maybe should be ranked a little higher. 19, Bo Nix. 20, Bryce Young. 21, J.J. McCarthy.
That's the one I can't.
This guy who wrote this had McCarthy ranked as his top quarterback in his draft year.
That's
Bryce Young? Oh, you've got to be kidding. All right.
22,
no
Drake
J.J.
May.
McCarthy.
23, Michael Penix. 24, Caleb Williams. 25, Cameron Ward.
Wow.
26, Sam Donald. 27, Russell Wilson. 28, Justin Fields. 29, Joe Flacco. 30, Anthony Richardson. 31, Mason Rudolph. Number 32, Mr. Irrelevant, Tyler Shroud.
I don't even know who
I'm
he is.
surprised this guy didn't have a
He was the
Shadon
guy that
there
was just
somewhere.
drafted to be the is he the Saints quarterback now with
The
been
26-year-old. Yeah.
retiring?
But
Okay,
7 years in college, that's almost as many as
I
me.
know.
who's
know?
going to be the biggest surprise of training camp? We'll start with Russell. Biggest surprise in training camp, albeit a free agent or albeit a draftee. What's the one that you're focusing on the most right now? One player.
Well, I mean, again, I would just go back to, I think the biggest wild card is Kyle Williams. That's the guy I just focused on because they're just so desperate for a high-end receiver that if he surprises and shows that he can go out right away and be a number 2 receiver, that would be fantastic.
Joseph?
Well, already out of the OTAs, the Patriots have been pushing Kyle Williams. He's getting all the press right now. So there's always someone they push, and that would be it. But I'd like to see the running back situation. I'd like to see Henderson, what happens with him.
Timmy?
I'm hoping it's this edge rusher from
Swinson.
LSU, Braden Swinson.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he really just explodes on the scene.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's Will Campbell. I mean, that's the key position. If this guy can solidify the left tackle position, and then Russ is not wanting us to lose.
Wait, Scotty. You said biggest surprise.
No, I think that's I think that is the biggest surprise.
I think the biggest surprise would be if he's a failure.
Yeah.
No,
the less we hear of Will Campbell, the better.
Yeah,
the
he's
less
supposed to be
holding penalties, the less.
Well, you're taking the fucking an offensive lineman 4th in the draft. He better be a plug and play for the next 15 years.
I know, but it's an utter
disaster. Okay?
I don't think that's a fait accompli. I think if he's the key guy. If everything goes off him, we know with like the lineups, what Bregman does to a lineup. If Will Campbell is the legit guy, not just an average guy, if he's a legit high end left tackle, that changes everything in the offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, it's about having stars. I want to see guys who, despite their draft position, become legitimate stars in the NFL. And that's the big storyline. If Will Campbell is a star, we're in good shape.
If he's not, we're in big, big trouble.
Right? If you know, right? I mean, we can't go back in the draft looking for a left tackle.
We
Sure
cannot.
can.
No, right?
We don't
No,
want to,
no.
but sure we can. You know.
No, because I can't do that.
Now, did I hear in the previous year draft he would have been like the 7th or 8th offensive line? Joe, did you mention that?
No, but I've heard stuff like that. But he was the best available this year.
Yeah, but
So
that worries me a little bit. You know?
That's the hand you dealt. You got to play those guys.
Was it just like the poorest year for left tackle in years in the draft?
Well, I don't know. He's our guy now, and he's
here now, and he's gonna have to play.
And I got to figure out a nice nickname for him.
I mean, his college stats are off the charts, right? I mean,
oh yeah, he's huge, man. He's
and he played against top-notch competition. You know, as far as collegiate, you know, the best you're gonna.
Yeah, I mean, the right edge guy for Alabama, the right edge guy for Georgia, the right edge guy for Texas. Those guys are probably 90% of them are playing on Sundays.
Almost every one of them get drafted.
Who's the best left tackle in the history of the Patriots?
Wow, yeah.
I know the best guard was, right?
Is it Matt Light?
Leon Gray was left tackle.
I thought Gray was a guard.
No,
Hannah was the guard.
Oh, great. Okay. But they traded him. I remember that I cried that when they traded him to the Orioles.
Gray might be in the conversation.
Well, he wanted too much money. Remember, it was a contract dispute.
You had Nate Solder and Matt Light were the two from the
Super Bowl eras.
Who would you take, Solder or Light, if you had to pick one?
Probably Solder. I think he was a better player.
He was gigantic, huh? Like 6'9".
Yeah.
So
huge
Solder,
wingspan.
So Solder would be it, I think. Then if we decide that Solder was the best in that era, he would be.
Who was that big German we had? He was
on the right side.
The right side, okay.
What was his name?
I forget.
Vollmer.
Yeah.
Sebastian Vollmer.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to have these kind of guys back. I wish we had kept Tooney. He just signed an extension. I don't know why we didn't try to go get him back, but instead of Moses. But that's
he got big money again too.
Yeah, and we have plenty of money. I don't know why we didn't try to do that. So there's surprise cuts. My theory is that when the old guard comes to training camp, they're going to be shown the door pretty quickly. Vrabel's already shown that with Andrews and Cardona. Who's next out the door? Because somebody's going out the door that we like.
I think, Elliot Wolf gave 5 guys last year big extensions. All 5 of them sucked last year. At least one. Money will keep some of them here, but at least one of them is going to be gone.
All right, who, Joe? Pick one.
Duggar.
Timmy.
My favorite of them all.
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think absolutely Bourne.
Yeah.
Talk,
that 5. So of that 5, I think that's
no production. No production.
I think Bourne's gone too. But then what are they waiting for? Is it June 1st? A big date or something?
Only on some contracts, not on all contracts.
Russell,
every year Bourne comes out and says, this is going to be my year. This is going to be my year. And then
he's missed the smiley face. Yeah, he doesn't do anything in the field. He was horrific last year. Russell, who's going out the door?
I think just to say someone different, it could be Tavai, the linebacker. Just doesn't seem to fit into his
he's not
into
even,
Vrabel's
I thought
system.
he was already gone.
Very slow. No, the other guy, Bentley's gone. Yeah, not Tavai.
I think Peppers is out of here. Vrabel's
the best late tackle and the best jump on the pile linebacker in the league.
Tavai. Yeah, I can't.
No, Peppers.
Yeah.
You see a guy more jumping on the pile at the end? Do you get
Yeah.
credit for a tackle if you jump on the pile at the end? You must.
Nope.
There's got to be something positive out of it, you know.
I'm shocked Tavai's still on the team, to be honest with you. Maybe they're trying to see if they can get something for him, which they may be able to. You might be able
He's
to.
just one of those he comes in a dime packages because he's a coverage linebacker.
But he was a second-round pick for the Lions, so it's crazy that
He's athletic, and that's why they put him in the nickel and dime packages. You can make him as a big giant safety, or he's a small linebacker covering a tight end or a back.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to the Red Sox. I just don't know what to say anymore. Their offense is lifeless. And it's pretty much been lifeless the whole year. The only good players on the team, other than Devers, are the guys that we acquired in the offseason, which really is a referendum on acquiring good players in the offseason. Because where would we be without Bregman, Chapman, Wilson, Navarez? Where would we be? Would we win a game without those guys?
Hey, my worry is Bregman's playing too good.
Oh,
that
no,
lineup is not working.
This is just
They
the
got to
thought to
shake
me.
that lineup up. They don't work together.
Timmy, why'd you have to say that? It's freaking beyond me. Why do you have to just those?
Oh, you heard what his agent already came out and said, right?
Boris is a fucking asshole.
Timmy's the best straight man of all time. I didn't even have to do anything. Look what happened.
Really? Why?
Did you not read the paper, Scott? Did you have selective reading? You know what I mean?
I'm reading my book. I'm trying to sell a book. I'm writing. I'm not.
By the way, outstanding book.
I'm loving.
At least the cover's outstanding. I know that.
I'm loving. You want to take my?
It looks like Boris has already made it clear, man. They're
what
not.
Did he say?
He said that they're almost positively not gonna. They're gonna opt out, man.
He's gonna opt out 100%. He's gonna opt out unless he gets injured.
He's gonna get 10 million more a year somewhere.
Yeah, of course he is.
$50 million a year. Come on, he's not doing that.
They ranked the number 2 free agent going into next year. What those guys get, $50 million.
Right? Who's the number 1 free agent?
I don't know.
It's the kid. There's a guy on the Colorado Rockies, I think, right now. Tucker.
The Cubs. Kyle Tucker.
The Cubs. Yeah. Kyle Tucker.
And apparently, it's just not it's not just what Bregman does on the field. It's his whole makeup and
you're not paying
locker room
$50 million for being rubbing guys his shoulder.
Well, no,
better start talking about an extension.
You might throw $5 million onto it for that. You know what I mean?
So here it is. Okay, so they're paying him $40 million for this year and the next 2. So you'd probably have to extend him 3 more years. Would you agree?
Make it a 6-year deal instead of a 3.
Okay, so you're probably going to get a little discount on the 3 years guaranteed. Wouldn't you think? Because of this, you don't think you're getting any discount?
It's Scott Boras, Scotty. Come on. Scott Boras is not going to take a penny less than what he's making right now. Come on.
Oh, you don't think so, huh? All right. So, Gary, that's fine. It works for me. I got no problem with it. You're not going to see me argue. So you extend him 3 more years at 40 per. So that
he's not going to take it.
What's
he wants $50 million.
Well, he's not getting
Scotty. It's all if someone's willing to pay. It only takes one person to write the check.
But look, Russ is just doing that just to torture me. See, and you're playing.
I didn't even bring this up.
Timmy,
how much is Xander making right now?
Russ is innocent as the
No, he's not.
What is Xander making a year now for 10 years? What's he making?
What's that?
How much is Xander making for the next 10 years?
25.
But it only takes one idiot, Scotty, to write the check.
So you're telling me you think he's going to opt out and someone's going to give him $50 a year for 4 years.
How old is he?
He's going to be 32, 33, right?
They like to write these contracts till they're 40. So they'll probably want 45 a year for 8 years or something like that.
What? No. Well, but nobody was giving him that this year. So what do you?
Yeah, he wanted 6 years and no one would give it to him.
You think people have changed that dramatically based on 6 weeks? Come on, no way. I mean, I've changed.
You hope not.
Okay. All right, first of all, we thought 40 was crazy. Didn't we think 40 was crazy? Are you guys gonna talk?
No, yeah. I mean, I thought we was going to be 35, so I don't know how much crazier 40 was. It made sense on a short-term contract. It
Okay,
made total
Russell.
sense.
Yeah, 40 for only a couple of years.
I think
Instead of giving
all
him
kidding
over
aside,
6 years.
what you need to do probably, Scotty, is you probably need to pay him $45 million a year and extend, to Joe's point, extend it 6 years. So you're paying,
Yeah,
yeah, it's $270 million, $280 million.
I
So
bet
he ends
that's
up getting the contract he originally wanted, is
Yeah.
what
he'll
he's
get
going
it.
to be going for.
Yeah.
Are
What?
the Red Sox willing to write that? We'll see. You know,
So
will the
you're
Mets owner just go in and write it? Who knows? You know what
put
I
him to
mean?
year 40, age 40.
Scotty loves the Mets third baseman, so they won't be looking for a third baseman.
No, come on, age 40. You seriously? You think they're going to be paying him $45 million a year at age 40? Do you
He's
want?
31. He's 31 right now. So
Okay.
he'd be 37.
Yeah,
So he's
they
not
do
40.
it.
He's
They write
37.
these big contracts to like 37, 38 years old, right? I mean,
Red Sox aren't doing that.
that's what the agents want, right?
So you think Red Sox? Okay, all right. If we're going to do that, then do you think if the Red Sox are pretty much out of it, they trade him?
I would. If they're out of it, I'd trade him. You could re-sign him.
Well,
You go to him, say you want to go to a contender the rest of this year. You could re-up with the contender if you want. If not, be a free agent and we'd love to have you back. Do you want to go try to win a World Series this year?
So
What the hell do they care?
what are you doing? Putting Mayer at third?
We're giving up already,
I think
guys? Giving up already?
no, you
what
have a
we
third
need
baseman.
to do is
Rafi
get rid
Devers.
of
Wait.
Trevor Story, who was the
it's-
roadblock to like
wait.
Roman Anthony and Maya.
Oh,
He's the
Wait.
roadblock to the kids
It's
in the
it's
minors.
May 22nd, guys. We're throwing in the towel.
almost.
Scotty's the one who just threw the
Not even a
I'm
third of the way
I'm
through.
getting
By
close.
the way, I'm like
What are they?
I'm like
500.
Mr. Optimist.
They're 500 right now, right?
You're the under five. They're one game under 500.
The one
Yeah,
game under 500. It's May 22nd. We're throwing in the towel. Didn't some team win the World Series
Look,
a couple of years ago who was like
here's
worse than us right now at this point
Here-
in the season?
here's my takeaway
You're
from
right.
this conversation.
It's the Braves.
Scotty's thrown in the towel on the year and he's trading Bregman. That's my takeaway from this conversation
No,
right now.
I'm just.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same
You
breath,
trade
gave him
him.
a 6-year
trade him.
extension and
It's-
traded him.
It's May 22nd. We're trading Bregman.
I froze
Scotty
my
was the
ass
one who
off
mentioned it.
Last night, Joe and I froze our literal ass off, and they showed absolutely no interest in being.
Wait. Did you have a lot of room to stretch out in our section, Scotty?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. There's always.
There's always seats either side.
we never.
Here's one thing though, Scotty, because I've been a pretty big supporter of Cora. Cora is managing this team as if he has a lifetime contract, and that's not good.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous last night. I understand, you were trying to keep Crochet on a pitch count, this, that, and the other thing, right? But you threw in 85 pitches. You sweep the Mets and you have the Orioles coming up, and the Orioles are underperforming. You're looking at a 7-game win streak, an 8-game win streak, the kind of thing that gets you back into a pennant race, right? And he punts that game last night after 85 pitches for Crochet. This is not a man who's managing with any level of urgency whatsoever.
No, great.
He's every time they lose, it's only one of 162. It's like there's no big games, no sense to like you said, sense of urgency to win any game. He's not out to win any of these games. He's fine losing them, it seems.
Is it a coincidence that their last 2 wins were by replacement coaches? After he was out on Monday, Vasquez got the 2 wins.
I don't understand it. He lets him come out for the 6th. He pitches to one batter and then he takes him out.
Got him out. Yeah.
Why do you even let him go out? I don't even understand any of it. He's managed so poorly in the last 6 weeks. I can't even tell you.
He's not managing with any urgency. He knows he's got a job. He even said something last night. He's like, I'm playing the long game. Oh, okay. Great. I'm glad you're playing the long game. That's fantastic.
May counts the same as a win in September.
By the individual game.
A win in May is just as important as a win in September.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
And what
I'm not happy with that.
What he's doing to my buddy Bernardino is just criminal. I mean, he's pitching him every freaking night. The guy's arm's going to fall off. I don't even know why he came in last night. Cora, And the Devers situation, we really haven't gone over that part of it. Cora has allowed Devers to do whatever he wants. Ultimately, he's the manager, and it shouldn't be Breslow telling Devers what to do. It should be Cora. Don't you agree?
I agree that
Absolutely.
he
Yeah.
should have, I put it on him to manage him going over to the DH. I can see where making the second move is Breslow's job.
Oh, no, I would disagree with you. I think the move that was done before the season would have been Breslow. That's fine.
It should have,
But
but everyone put it on Cora for that, and Cora managed that one out, and it worked. And so I think he said, no, I'm not doing it again.
well, I mean, this is a situation where, I mean, when you have Nick Sogard playing first base, it's this
Oh,
this is
he shouldn't even be in the major leagues.
this is the last 4 years, a microcosm of the last 4 years. Would you agree that Sogar is at first base? That's what this has been. That's
Subpar replacement players.
I mean, right? I mean, just scrub guys playing key positions and expecting to get some kind of level of production from them.
And guys you're paying top dollar to, like Trevor Story, playing like dogs. Twice last night, Russ. Twice. He just held the ball and
Terrible.
allowed the guy runner was safe each time.
Mm-hmm.
No, he played disinterested, and then the non-competitive up at bat in the sixth inning where he was not interested.
Took the
all.
first two and then waved at the third.
Yeah, well,
What's left in Story's contract?
3 more years.
70 million.
Too many years.
70
Brutal.
million. You have to eat it. You have to. It's a sunk cost. You have to eat it. Would you agree, Russell?
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think there's
You're
something
getting there.
physically wrong with the guy?
No, I
No.
think he's not into it right now.
Well, he
There's
exceeded
a
all of
melee's
our.
on that team, and you got to lay it at Cora's hands. I've been a Cora supporter, but that team is moribund.
Well, Story has exceeded Russ. You have him playing 40 games before he went on the
Yeah, That's
he's
played
exceeded
poorly.
all expectations.
He's played poorly. I wish he had gotten hurt.
We want him on the DL.
That would be the best thing. Okay, so this team needs to shake up.
Wait. We'd always saying, "Oh, wait till Story gets back. Wait till Story gets back." You know.
Horrific. The team needs to be shaken up. What do you do? I mean, there needs to be people who leave it. Mayor and Anthony need to come up. They have to create some energy. What's going to happen?
Send Sogard and Hamilton out, and you bring Meyer and Anthony up.
I agree.
I think I think the obvious things are unfortunately, you're going to end up with Campbell at first base, which I don't think is a great solution, but I understand why they're doing it. You bring Meyer up to play second, and then I think you got to deal one of the outfielders, and to me, it's Duran. He's been fine, but like he can go to a team. He can go to a team. Can help a team win right away. He's not a young guy. He's an older young guy. It's going to cost a lot of money in arbitration, and you'd get the most for him.
Now, Russ, do you think what's holding them back from doing that is this whole years of control with Anthony and Mayor?
No,
they still control Duran. They still control Duran for quite a few years.
3 more years.
No, I'm talking about
Duran.
Mayor and Anthony. I'm talking about. What's the cutoff where they bring them up and it doesn't?
Oh no, that's already been passed. You got what is it?
Okay, so they don't. If they brought them up now, they wouldn't lose a year of control.
Unless the only way they'd lose a year of control on them is if they came in the first 3 places in Rookie of the Year voting.
So do it. I mean, that was kind of the reason they weren't up, right?
Trevor Story and blocking right now, and to a certain extent, Yoshida too is still in the pipeline blocking things.
So you got to do it. You got to do something, right? I mean, they're just sitting there waiting. What? Why not?
Well,
why not?
Let the season go.
We all see the reasons why. What are the reasons why not?
Are they going to let the season go to shit just because they owe Trevor Story money?
No, I think I don't think Story's the real issue here. You could at least temporarily shift Campbell over to first base, create some space for Mayer, and then see if but if Story doesn't snap out of it for a while, you you cut him, you trade him, you eat most of his salary, trade him somewhere.
Or wait a minute, Meyer is left-handed hitting, right?
Yeah.
He's left-handed hitting, yeah.
Platoon the shortstop. If he doesn't come around, hey, just platoon him so that he's only playing against
Maybe,
lefties.
yeah.
Well, I think they
Yeah,
would do
maybe.
that. Mayer would play sometimes at short and then
Yeah.
sometimes at second. I don't think, they would probably,
But would send a message to not only Story but to the rest of the team that hey, just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you got a long-term job. You didn't get tenure just because you've been here a while.
No, I've never been a big fan of Bayo, and I'm less of a fan of Bayo. I wouldn't, to be honest with you, with these young pitchers coming up and already there, and Dobbins and Fitz and some other guys coming up. Could you see them moving Bayo?
Did you see that Red Sox documentary?
I haven't watched it all. I just
He's like a freaking loose cannon, man. He's like
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah,
he comes like after a bad inning, he comes out and he tears the clubhouse apart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
they said
It's almost like they have to hire three guys just to settle him down after a bad inning.
yeah, he doesn't sit in the dugout. He goes and mopes somewhere in the
Mopes
clubhouse.
big time. He goes into fits of rage.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly he's beating himself up. He's not, he's just beating himself up between innings in there. He's really delicate, like mentally, it appears,
I think Bayo or Houck is going to go in a trade. I think that
Yeah.
Well, aren't they? Bayo's got a nice contract.
Yeah, he sure does.
Attractive to a lot of teams, especially the small market teams, because it'd be, that they know what the cost is going to be for the next 6 years.
I think what you see now with Bayo is what you're going to get.
Which is not good enough.
Yeah.
Cohen and Hernandez, who are just the best announcers in baseball, who broadcast the New York Mets, Hernandez loved Dobbins, couldn't stop talking about him. And those guys are real. Those guys, obviously, they're Mets announcers, but they play it pretty even. They're just incredible. I mean, they should actually be the national team, broadcast team. But he loved Dobbins, and I take a guy like Hernandez opinion very strongly.
Dobbins is fine. He cannot. He's like a lot of young guys cannot face the third time through.
Well, right now,
it's something he has to learn. It's going to take a couple of years, but he knows how to get through the first two times through. Houck was the same way. They used to pull Houck as soon as after getting 18 guys.
What's the starting rotation going to look like in 26?
I think it's Bayo's. I think they're going to give Bayo a lot of leash. Remember, they signed him, so he's got a lot of leash. They've got a lot committed to him. So
he's got good.
I love Dobbins. Yeah, Dobbins is fantastic. Crochet, Bueller. I think he'll be gone after this year.
Yeah,
he'll be one and done, right?
I think Dick Fitz might.
Fitz may be like he may be
a future power pitcher.
How many years is Giolito signed for?
Oh, this is it, thankfully.
I think this is it. Yeah.
Oh,
it was just a 2-year
deal,
wasn't it?
That's just a terrible.
Okay, good.
Oh my God, that guy's just absolute garbage. Oh, for God's sake.
Another bargain basement pickup by the Sox,
No, it wasn't even bargain basement.
Well, I know, but it seemed like, everyone else was gone when they grabbed him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I had greater hope for this team, but I just see it's in such disarray right now. I don't see this coming together.
We had such high hopes too. You know that?
Yeah, would Cora ever be fired this year? Is there any chance?
Look, I don't think I would have told you it's insane to think anything like that. And but you can't be if there's a lot more of what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, they're gonna have to blame somebody for this. Right?
It's not gonna be Breslow.
And they're more likely to eat the like $12 million they owe Cora than the $70 million they owe Story, right?
Yeah. Before we go to the Bruins, I just have to mention Breslow.
Wait, one last thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think that they are looking at Cora saying, "Hey, I know the last 2 years have been kind of rough, but this year we gave you some material to work with,
Yeah.
and you're on, and the team's underperforming." You
I'm
know,
sure Breslow is saying that.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm sure
you're,
Breslo's
you're
not
not,
happy about the
yeah,
Devers
you're,
situation. They threw
you're
him
not,
under the bus.
you're not getting the best out of these guys. You know,
He's
Yeah,
not
no, I agree with
Breslow's
you.
guy, remember, too,
I agree with you, Timmy. Yeah, Russell, they threw Breslow under the bus in the Devers situation, and Cora was happy to do it.
Yep.
Gore was happy to do, and that's a little bit of my point. I think that act, somebody's going to have to take the blame for underperformance, and I think you know, Breslow took the heat for that one. I'm not sure he's going to take the heat for this one.
Would you say that Henry went to Kansas City, Missouri, which I know he did not want to go to ever? Do you think he went there to back up Breslow? And
Maybe, yeah,
that was for
maybe.
Breslow, not for Cora?
Could be.
And sail your
Yeah.
yacht to Kansas City, so he doesn't like going there.
Because I would say that Breslow's done a pretty good job. I'm not unhappy with, I mean, that whole the New York deal to get that Navarez is a pretty that was a pretty
That
remarkable
was a good
deal.
deal.
I mean,
Yeah.
the whole idea that we had no catching depth, there isn't a whole lot in baseball. We gave away Teal to get Crochet, which was an incredible deal. And to be honest with you, we may have replaced Teal or done better on this minor deal because Navarez is a stud. He's
Breslow appears to be a keeper in this position. I mean, I was really pleased with this offseason.
Yeah, he did a great job.
And the tools he was. So, here are the tools, Cora. We're giving you the tools. Build the house. Don't complain your bad materials here. He's got, they're underperforming. It's his fault. You guys watch more closely than I do. How many games in the last month has he managed away?
Oh, I would say at least five games that
Yeah.
that just I can't even believe it. I mean, Russell, you talk about the Giolito game where he left him in there, the Dobbins game where he left him in there, inexplicably. These things were no brainers. These were not difficult decisions, and he just slept. And Joe,
I think he thinks he's got a Supreme Court job. I think he thinks he's got a lifetime job somehow with the Red Sox. I don't think that's true. Hope not.
If they're out of it by July 4th, does he go?
I know where this is going.
Yeah.
Like, fellas, we all know where this is going, right?
Of course we know it's going.
We know where this is going.
Because he doesn't even have a position on the team.
There's a heavy set fella in that dugout.
Joey. I think he's on a slim fast. I think.
Yeah, he's right. He's lost weight. We know. Wait, literally, he's lurking. He's lurking. They don't even have a position for him. He just
on the top step of the game plan manager.
He just made that up.
Did they reinforce that step? Did they put a little shoring underneath it?
The guy's got a little weight problem. He's addressing it. But look, of course he's going to replace Corey. Would you agree if there's a mid-season replacement, it's Jason Varitek?
How about the guy that replaced him the last 2 nights, Vasquez?
I think you need a guy that speaks Spanish.
Jason can learn.
What's that?
He might. Maybe he knows.
What's that app? What's that app? He can learn languages in like 2 weeks.
He can do that while he's.
Duolingo.
What's that? What's that thing they? Rosetta Stone. He's got to get a Rosetta Stone thing going. Yeah.
During the game because he's doing nothing else, so he can just have his earpods in and just
learn Spanish during the game.
Practice on Ramon Vasquez. He's not going to be the manager of the Red Sox. I don't care. Just because he replaced Cora for 2 days, he's not getting it over Jason Varitek. Holy shit! Are you kidding me? I'm going to personally go in the dugout and just switch over positions. All right,
Scotty, you're going to write an angry letter. An angry letter, Scotty. Right. Works every time.
Very effective. Are we going to
go open letter to Craig Breslow?
The Bruins. I still believe, and I've heard some rumors. The kind of fringe that Tim Hoey is a potential candidate to be the head coach of the Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean,
how great would that be?
Skate left, skate right.
You have to
You wanna
talk to his agent.
You want to confirm, refute? What do you want to do, Timmy?
I don't think they could afford him, Scotty.
We would have.
Yeah, right. It's probably true.
All I would want my team to do would be to lead the league in penalties. That's all. Lead the league in fighting. That's all I would want. Give the fans what they want. You know,
Timmy, we always start with the you and the Bruins. Are they going to pick a coach? Oh, wait. First of all, we have to talk about Don Sweeney was given a 2-year present under the tree yesterday of an extension. Seriously? If anyone should be a lame duck,
I'm going to tell you why, Scotty. This year is the first year where they haven't been relevant in a long, long time. Would you agree?
I agree. But
I mean, I think the goal of these NHL general managers, there's only one team that can win the Stanley Cup every year, right? Is to stay relevant. And under his tutelage, they have stayed relevant for a long, long time.
I mean,
despite terrible, terrible drafting.
No one has won more since he took the job. There's no other team has won more games.
There's got to be something said for that, right? I mean, let's look at the real business plan.
I would like to see more important games won, but
but let's look at the reality of the NHL job. Like I said, only one team can win the Stanley Cup. So, in some ways, you can base it on if you're the of the owner of the Mets, you can operate at a different level. But the Jacobs family is in the business of making money. And Sweeney has put a lot of money in their pockets. That place is banged out. Last year, not so much, but name any other NHL team that has been as highly relevant as the Bruins have for the last 10, 12 years, maybe?
Joseph?
Maybe more than that.
So who's
Toronto? But you know what I think it is? I think they're just timing it up. They're giving him one last coach, and you're going to sign the coach for 3 years. Now Sweeney will have 3 years.
Makes sense.
I mean, they can fire him, and this is the last coach they're going to.
Joe. If we have 2 more years like we had this year, he's gone.
Yeah, but he'll give him. They'll give him that. They'll let him hire the coach, because then you can't be like the Red Sox and have a coach from the other GM, and things like that. You got to match things up. You can let them both go.
You almost can't fire the guy for one horrific season, because most NHL teams have that season every 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah. Well, they made a mistake. We thought it was a good move when they went big. They went big, and
I loved it, Joe. I loved it, because the previous couple of years, it seemed like when we hit the playoffs, we were getting pushed around.
Yeah.
So we all said, okay, we're tired of getting pushed around. Let's get big. Well, the league has gone a different direction. It's pure speed and skill now.
All right, Russell, the last word is yours about the Bruins. Were you surprised by the Sweeney extension, and who's
it was originally, but Timmy's argument makes sense, and I kind of it made sense. And look, what we need Sweeney to do is draft. What they need to do is draft better, right? Yeah. Like, that's the bottom line. And really, the thing that you can ding Sweeney on is just he isn't drafted player. Yeah. He isn't drafted well enough. So if he has a good draft, he's finally get some picks, and let's see where they go.
Russ, isn't it amazing that they have stayed as relevant as they have with such horrible drafting?
I mean,
it's unbelievable.
You're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. We get disappointed in the playoff losses, but that's not really as much Sweeney's fault as, for whatever reason, different reasons. But he's on notice. I think he's got one more coach. He's got 1 or 2 more drafts, and let's see what happens.
Would you agree?
He's he complains, look where we're drafting. Well, he's been pressured to give up draft picks at the trade deadline each year for a push in the playoffs. And then we have no draft picks. We don't have a first and second draft pick every year.
Yeah, because we've always been buyers, we've never been sellers, right?
Yeah. And so they've never had the picks.
Well, they should have won 3 in the Sweeney era.
Well, I think they should have
won. They should have obviously beat the Blues.
They should have beat the Blackhawks
won
too.
2 years ago. And so they should have 3 right now.
They should have 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Fair
think
enough.
if Pasta doesn't drunkenly go jumping around trying to vault parking meters or whatever it was there when he was shit-faced. And
That's
then
our
that lost the St. Louis series for us.
it's all this. It's just so much pain tonight. It's all right. That's our show for tonight. I want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com. And that was a great show, guys. Tune in next Thursday night at 7 o'clock for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.